City Council meeting, special meeting of March 17, 2020 has come to order. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista.
Present.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Present.
Mayor Samra.
Present.
For the record, Councilmember King and Mayor Pro Tem Garcia are not in attendance, but their absence is excused.
Thank you. And Mr. Baines, would you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please? Please remain standing for our first responders and military members for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Changes to the agenda on the special meeting, council staff? Since I don't see, okay, thank you. Now, this is a special meeting. We will be having our regular meeting at 7. So at this time, a citizen comment portion is open. It's a special meeting. Members of the public, when addressed by the council on any matter agenda, may do so at this time. Note, under the provisions of the California Government Code, the city council is prohibited from discussing or taking action by any item not on the agenda. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. So if you wish to make comments on this particular item, on the special meeting, please do so now at this time.
Catherine Shell Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163. My question, you probably will answer it during the course of the discussion, but my question would be the reason for the declaration of a local emergency and what benefit to the city and residents this declaration would give us.
Thank you. When we bring up the item, we will definitely list those items for you. Anybody else for citizens' comment?
Hi, my name is Mandeep Singh. I'm not even sure what I came here to say, but I feel like it needs to be said. There's a whole town here that, voted for you all to be sitting in those seats, and you all owe it to the public health to take this definitely more seriously than these first couple minutes have shown. Excuse me. We saw what the results of our national government not taking this seriously has been the last month. People are starting to die. This is a very rare case where we actually can view into the future. We can look to Italy right now. We can look to China, what's happening there. And if we don't take drastic action, that is gonna be our future pretty soon. And we don't have a hospital here to handle emergencies that are gonna be coming up. So I do applaud the city council for taking this action to declare an emergency. I feel like this was definitely needed, but I'm more curious to find out what are the tangible actions we are going to take forward. This is the bare minimum, as sending notices that hey, we declared an emergency. How are we going to direct businesses to take care of their employees? Because as we all know, nobody's going to let people know, hey, you should stay home. There are businesses here that we are grateful for, that let us eat, that give food to our families. But we also have to realize that the bottom lines matter more than human health in this country. So what is the city council going to do? That is something for you all to discuss, maybe amongst yourselves, maybe not today, maybe later, I don't know when. But you all need to figure out how you're going to have these businesses direct their employees that if they're over 60 years old, that you're allowed to stay home without getting penalized, without getting tagged with these points. People are afraid right now in this town to stay home. I've talked to seniors, people over 65 that are working at businesses right now in, I don't want to say cramped conditions, but obviously they're very close. They're afraid to lose their jobs. They're afraid that if they don't show up to work, that they're going to get penalized. We have the president telling us that over 10 people in a confined space is too much, right? over 10 people. We have businesses that are running here with seniors, people over 65, working amongst, whatever, 1,000, 1,500 of them. I mean, this is pretty eerie, right? As I'm speaking about this is, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is, right? We have to take this very seriously, and I'm glad you all are taking this step. And yeah, I hope we can come to an agreement with the businesses in this town to take care of their employees and to take care of the citizens and make sure that we curb, it's coming in the next 10 days and the next month. This is coming to America, right? What's happening around the world. How do we curb that? How do we save our citizens? How do we save the people that put you in these seats? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh, and we will respond to your comment shortly as well, okay? Anybody else for citizen comment? If not, we'll move on to discussion and potential action item. Well, this is the resolution of the City Council, City of Livingston, proclaiming the existence of local emergency relating to threat posed by COVID-19, novel coronavirus. So, Mr. Ramirez, first of all, before we introduce the item, we had a couple of good questions. And I want to thank you folks for please getting up and asking us questions. What I do want to do is tell you that as a nation, as a state and county and the cities, everybody's starting to get focused, laser focused on this now at this time. There was a time where no one thought the seriousness of it has turned into. Up until a couple of weeks ago, CDC and everybody, they were aware of it, but they were not really focused on it, and hence, people were not paying attention like they are now. What I will tell you is I posted on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to, we'll put this on our Facebook too. Yesterday, the mayors, the Board of Supervisors, their chairperson, and another, along with Merced County Health and Adam Gray's office, we got into a conference call to make sure that we are all doing everything we can, and that and everybody is committing resources. We are going to say here shortly to ease the citizens' concerns in saying, please, we know the seriousness of it. Do not panic. Follow the guidelines set by the CDC and your local health department about social distancing. If you're 65 or older, please don't go into crowded areas. The standard advice everybody's getting. And even in Livingston, I have spoken with a couple of businesses, and Five River was the first one. I think everybody's else doing it. They went ahead and closed their drinking side, and then restaurants, they limited the capacity to where they can do that. And some of the restaurants and some of the fast food places, they're starting to close all inside dining, basically all takeout now. So everybody is starting to get focused, and everybody's moving forward. As far as we know, at this time, it doesn't mean hasn't happened. The latest update we got from Merced County, that at this time there are no confirmed cases in Merced County. It doesn't mean there are not out there. It just means that nobody has tested positive that we're aware of. Is that going to change? Everybody thinks by next week, maybe earlier, Merced County is definitely going to get a positive test somewhere. Where it's going to be, how much it's going to be, nobody can say, because it's just really difficult to figure out. I know at the federal level, as you mentioned, there are a lot of folks afraid of losing their jobs. House of Representatives and the Senate, along with President Trump, they are working on some sort of relief package. We don't know how it's going to be, what it's going to turn into. They are working on passing something. So the financial assistance, as Mr. Singh, you would know, everybody here would know, it really comes down through a form of direct payments to citizens or through unemployment insurance. A city such as Livingston, we're not set up for that. all we can do is, and we will do, is offer any of our business any assistance they need as far as what they need to do. As you see, even our council meeting, we distanced everybody. Our regular meeting is going to be really, really stripped down. And because we didn't want people to come in and not be prepared. And we are working on a possible dial-in to where folks don't have to come in directly, because we do broadcast our meetings through YouTube, and it is available for live stream. We will set up so they can call in with their questions and concerns, and we will do that. So we will do everything possible to keep the public engaged. Another one, and I know I don't want to take the city manager's thunder, but we are also looking at, and once the council declares it, and we have to go through the process, is to allow citizens to phone in with their card or whatever to pay their utility bill. And we will, we're going to look at, and the city manager is going to propose this, to waive any penalties. And for the duration of this crisis, or we will not, and then we're going to be proposing this, we're looking not to turn anybody's water off for non-payment. Now, they will still incur costs, but we will not turn them off, and we will not charge any fees if it goes through.
Yeah.
If we go through, then this is something what we're exploring. And so we're also going to be putting in a lot more. I know that a lot of it's going to be worked with our police department and fire department, because they're our first responders. They're going to be on the front lines. So there's going to be a lot happening. I know it hasn't happened, but I think everybody's starting to get focused. So and again, I'm going to say the same thing. Anybody listening, everybody, please follow the advice of the CDC and your health department. And if you have any questions, we have a link on our website. Every city, every county, everybody has links on information about the COVID. And again, in my view, if you feel that you have the virus, don't go see your doctor. Call them, ask for advice on what to do. Because if you walk in and you have it and they have 10 other patients, you just expose everybody. So best advice is to call and ask for advice and follow their advice. So this is what we have done so far. Are we going to do more? Definitely. And we will be updating the citizens as we take action, as we get more direction from the health department, from the state and the CDC and everybody else. So, and we will also work with our local businesses in what they need to do. So, okay, so at that, Mr. Ramirez, would you like to introduce the resolution? And also, please explain what are we done, or what can we do? What has changed once we declare this? So please explain that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Absolutely, and thank you to the public. So from the onset, let me just say that, yeah, this is very serious. We understand that this is 10 times more contagious than the regular flu, and it's something that we're taking very seriously. So because of that, we've actually already opened and started our emergency operations plan, and we will, as time goes on, we will elevate the level. But let me just share with you also that we are in constant contact with our other leaders within the county. I mean, when I say other leaders, I'm talking about the county itself, because they're tasked with the health aspect of all of this, and some of the logistics. And so we're also talking to our neighboring cities. We're part of a daily conference call, and we also meet from time to time to talk about what's going on the ground, so that we're all on the same page. And as the mayor alluded to, as the mayors, the elected officials, they're also talking about all this. And having our elected officials at the state level, both our senator and our assemblyman, so that if there's any bottlenecks or any issues, that we all work towards addressing them. So what is it that we're actually doing? So we've actually, I personally have made contact with a lot of the businesses. You know, I still got a few more to go, but I've made contact. We've actually even translated documents that we've said post in your businesses in the three predominant languages, Punjabi, Spanish, and English. And I left my my city card, and what we've also, when I say city card, I'm talking about my business card that has my cell phone and email on there, et cetera. And what we've been asking everybody, encouraging them, is not only to post those signage in their be on top of the directives that are coming down, but also to sign up for what is called a constant contact link. So if you go to the county's webpage or our webpage, we actually have a button, and you click on it, you can register yourself on that link, and you will get daily briefs of what's happening locally in the county. In addition to that, we've put together different protocols in our different departments to look at what are the critical needs of our community and the essential elements. So what are some of those essential? Well, public safety, whether it be police or fire, okay? And then we also have critical infrastructure like water, sewer, and garbage that we have to maintain. So we have the capability, and my staff is going to talk individually, a little more specific about each one of those critical areas, so that the public is aware to a certain extent what we're actually doing. And we are also in contact with our superintendents. We're in contact with our clinic that we have here in town, and looking at what are the protocols for testing. There's a hotline number. We've also been providing a webpage information and phone numbers to folks. We're not the experts here as it relates to the medical side of this, and so it's important that we allow them to give that information. But anything that pertains to us in city, we will respond to that, and we will address those from one point to another. And then I also know that the county on this coming Wednesday between 7 and 8, there will be a virtual town hall meeting that's going to be taking place. So folks will be able to participate and ask questions on any questions that you might have related to the coronavirus. As it relates to employees, we're also listening to what's coming down the pike. And so as of today, our employees of 65 years or older, and those who might have some type of underlying health issue, we've actually have asked them to go ahead and go home. And we're following the different protocols for that. And so we'll continue to provide essential services to our residents. And that I want to stress over and over again, because I know that some people are probably not calm about, oh, well, you know, are you guys going to shut the water down, or are you guys not going to be able to provide essential city services? And the answer to that is no. We will provide essential services, and our staff is going to be operating to make sure that any critical infrastructure is functioning at all times, okay?
And also, last Friday, city manager and I met with both Gurdwaras and let them know, gave them information, and that's why you may or may not have heard Nagar Kirtan's been postponed to another date. That was in consultation with both Gurdwaras and the staff, and what is best for everybody. So we are talking to a lot of people as well.
Yes.
So, and the question Ms. Michelle Rodriguez had about, what does this do?
Yes. So one of the reasons why we're first of all, we're trying to be all in line with other cities in our county and our county as well. And so, as you know, the school district is basically, by Thursday, the schools are going to shut down. So we're looking at also closing at least the section of the public having, you know, direct access. But we're going to work out all the details in terms of how people can call by phone and pay for their bill, or drop off checks, or go online And like the mayor alluded to, we're not going to enforce any penalties. We want to work for people. If there's individuals that need new hookups, we will work on a case-by-case basis with those individuals to have the water turned on at their place of business or home. In addition to that, we are tracking all of our time associated with this, because as we declare an emergency, we're going to be able to access funding that will come, but we have to fill out and keep track of everything that's going on so we can get reimbursed. Okay, and so that's one of the reasons why establishing an emergency declaration will help out. Okay, in addition to the employees keeping track of their time and stuff like that, we're also looking at every department and what are the essential needs of each department and how they can best serve the public through other means. Like, for instance, if the individual, if we don't need to meet face-to-face, can we arrange, a video conference call? Can we arrange a telephone conference call? Can they drop off plans? Can we review them, mail them back, have them pick them up? We're going to do a little bit of massaging here and there, but I just want to assure you guys that this is what we're doing.
Do you want to point out the modifications to the Brown Act?
Yes. Yes.
So just real quick, the governor has had a few executive orders already, some related to the Brown Act, specifically the Brown Act meeting. It's the transparency laws of that dictate how councils can meet. What are the laws when we put on a meeting like this? What's the special meeting? What's the notice requirements? The governor has suspended some of the requirements in order to facilitate folks from not gathering. One of the major requirement that he suspended was the requirement of council members having to post if they're going to call in by phone. There's a requirement that if you're going to call in by phone as a council member, you actually have to post where you're going to call from, post it within 72 hours, 24, whatever the requirement is. You have to post it at the location that you're going to pick up that phone and call into the meeting, and you have to allow the public there. The governor said that wasn't necessary right now. Council members, so we could technically, if it got bad and we still had to do business, all 5 council members can call in from separate locations without having to post that location, and they could just call in. The governor did state that you still have to post one public accessible place where the public can observe and participate in the meeting, but it's the idea is to try to, through technology, which the city manager mentioned, which is great, allowing folks to do public comments and participate as much as possible away from the meeting. Again, the whole idea is to try to not have people together in a lot of places. That's why social distancing. I could tell you just from a note, I represent agencies in Sonoma County and in other counties that are being affected even more than Merced County at this time, where they have, in the Bay Area, where they have shelter-in-place orders, where they have orders to stay home. Where cities are actually going to, and I think the mayor, you pointed it out, as far as services go, cities are focusing on, and one of the emergency, one of the questions was, what's the reason for the emergency? One of the reasons is you also want to manage your city in a way that you're still providing essential services. An emergency allows you to look at the essential services that your city provides to your residents, water, sewer, other types of essential things. Continue to operate by making certain changes to your staffing as required. Depending on how bad the situation gets, being flexible, being nimble. This is when it matters. An emergency like this starts that process. City manager pointed out another reason is we don't know what the federal government, what the state is going to do regarding potential reimbursement for all the costs. It could be expensive, but if there's programs out there, we want to put ourselves in a situation where we could recover, track our time, have an emergency like this. We also don't know what the governor is going to bring up next. We don't know what the county health official, what's the next order that we're going to have to move quickly right behind the health official. Again, some counties are saying you have to stay home, only essential services. You can't leave your house, only for essential things. We're not there yet here in this county, but you have to look at what's going on everywhere, right? And kind of think about, are you next? To that point, there are two minor modifications that I wanted to make to the actual resolution itself, and it's just additions. One change quickly is just on the last page of the resolution, page 2 of 2. The now therefore be it resolved. The second paragraph, it starts with, "It is further resolved and proclaimed." I wanted to change that to "be it further resolved and proclaimed," just for consistency purposes. And between that paragraph and the last, "be it further resolved and proclaimed," I wanted to add something that was a little clearer regarding staffing. It would read, "Be it further resolved and proclaimed that because a substantial threat to public health and safety exists, that has a substantial likelihood that serious harm will be experienced unless immediate action is taken, the city may need to alter or cease certain services other than essential services in response to this emergency, and the city manager can take any lawful personnel action that protects the health and safety of the workforce or the community. The city is authorized to postpone and/or delay any associated meet and confer obligations when taking action in response to the emergency." That, again, is another reason why you call an emergency, in order to be flexible, to be quick, to move quickly, and sometimes you have to go and do things even prior to meet and confer. The city manager has a great relationship with the unions, has brought this up with the unions as far as how things are going to be handled. I'm proud of working here for the city and having the city think about all these things and quickly moving as this progresses.
And one other thing in terms of answering Catherine Schell's question, another reason for the emergency proclamation is this also allows us to be, not just the funding side, but also in terms of resources. In this particular county, and I'm sure in other counties, they're having, some issues as it relates to having what we call PPE, which is personal protective equipment, making sure that we are constantly in the pipeline to get as many as we need, and by having an emergency declaration, it takes us to that highest level. So thank you for that question.
Mr. Aguilar, you had,
Yeah, just something real quick. I know there's a lot of anxiety and there's a lot of unknowns with the current situation, but I just want to tell the public that we are, definitely committed to staying on top of things, getting informed, and we're here to support any real emergency, and I just want to share that we're committed and we're here for you guys. I would just suggest that you, check information regularly on social media in regards to the official pages of the CDC or public health, the city's website, public health. Yeah, be in constant contact, like the city manager was saying. You could call City Hall, contact anybody up here. If you have any questions or need any clarifications, stay in contact with school districts and all of that. I know there's, like I said, a lot of anxiety, but we're here to, we're here for you guys. Obviously, we represent you, and we're here committed, okay?
Councilwoman Batista?
I just wanted to add, for Mr. Singh, if you wanted to stay up on current legislation, there are some bills, Senate Bill 117 and 89. If you're looking towards those helpful things that the governments are doing for us, and Assembly Bill 3216, which keeps the employers. So just refer to all the resources that have been mentioned here, and also keep an eye on current legislation. Also, I just wanted to add that the City of Livingston is doing a phenomenal job with keeping all our residents current and safe. I did do some phone calls around town, and Mr. Ramirez, you have brought up the protective equipment. I had checked in with the Grace Nursing Home, one of our homes down here on Peach. They serve about, I want to say about 35 residents there. It's a nursing home. So just want to check in with them, and they did say that we're doing our best, but they also wanted to let you know that they are low. There are no cases in the nursing home, but they are running low on some protective equipment. What they've done is that they've limited the amount of visitors in and out. They screen their employees every single day. I also checked in with the Monte Cristo adult living community. They also have received all of the city flyers due to Public Works being out there. They don't really have many concerns as to what's going on. It's their own community, so they do stay housed inside their residence. But I was just also thinking about our local veterans that are out there. There are way over 50 families out there. It's hard to determine how many that hit that age range that are elderly. But again, we're keeping a watchful eye, and I went out there and I confirmed with our older residents. So thank you.
Yeah, and just a follow-up to that, and Mr. Singh as well, one of the things that we had brought up as part of our conversations with all of our colleagues, with the elected officials, and also the county, is as it relates to the testing side of things. So there is a flow chart that we're more than happy to share on terms of how the testing is going to be done. But here locally, we've been in contact with our local, our Livingston Community Health Executive Director, and one of the things that early on, even before this actually took off, we've asked, okay, my assumption is that you guys are only going to be testing patients of yours, people that go to your specific clinic, and what would it take to be able to test other individuals that are not necessarily patients of yours, and what is the mechanism? And so right away we threw that out, and we're turning through that because we prefer our folks to get tested here locally versus having to go somewhere else and potentially expose themselves. And so we're looking at every angle, and we definitely would love to hear from our residents if you guys have any other ideas or any other communications.
Thank you. At this time, folks, I will open this to the public. Does anybody wish to comment from the public one more time? Please come forward.
And as he comes up, as I mentioned, we will be sharing, the school district puts out, different communications, and I get copies of it as well, and so we have some of that information at City Hall. But like, for instance, there a lot of folks have been asking about the free meals and how the school districts are going to work that. Well, they put that information out, and we're more than happy to provide you with that information or contact the school directly and to be informed, okay?
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to thank you all. That was a lot of information, a lot of good information, I feel like, for the public. And just want to say, I mean, it's just my personal opinion. We should probably refrain from saying there are no cases in Merced County or Livingston because we don't know. There is no testing available, right? We're on a shortage. And I think that's irresponsible to give a false sense of confidence to the public. As far as the earlier comment of mine, I wasn't really worried about like people getting paychecks if they don't show up to work. I was just asking about how the city is in conversations with businesses to not fire people that want to stay home from the directive of the national government. That was all.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jose Moran, Livingston, California. Just real quick, I think and I appreciate what the city has been doing in connection with the different other cities and the county and the different school districts. There's a lot of information definitely going out, and I think that people still need to find ways to get the right information. So we will continue, and everyone should continue to push out that information as well, especially as we get close to having kids be fully at home and not going to school. There's still a lot of questions out there. One of them, and it's just something that I can share about, in regards to breakfast and lunch for kids or anyone between 0 and 18 years old. And even if they're 18, they're still attending school, they just need to take their ID. And then also if we have, for instance, if we have a kid or someone that's attending Yamato or campus, which is on the other side of town, and they live on this side of town, they can go to the high school and get food there. They don't have to go all the way across town to campus or Yamato to get food over there. They just need to tell them, I have, 2 little brothers, and can I have 3 of them, and vice versa. If someone that attends the high school lives closer to Yamato, they don't need to come all the way across town to get their breakfast and lunch. They can go to Yamato and they can say, I'm at the high school, but can I get our breakfast and lunch here? And they will be able to do that as well. So that is very important for families to know. And also, I think, this will be a great opportunity. I know that we have different websites or social media sites connected to the city of Livingston, but we don't have one City of Livingston official page. And I think this will be one of those cases where it will be more helpful
Let's
to
set one up.
to have one where everyone knows exactly where to go. Instead of, I know we have the recreation, PD, animal services, but I think having one for the City of Livingston official or something like that, then everyone knows where to go. Yes, we do have cityoflivingston.com, but it's just convenient, having a Facebook or which I think most of the adults are connected to, and then eventually kind of go from there. But if we had that, I think that would even be more helpful and funnel that information through the one website, and then everyone else can kind of distribute it from there.
You mean a Facebook
A
page?
Facebook page, yes. Okay. Just my recommendation. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, I had one more question, and it has to do with the senior citizens, the senior center and food programs, and how those services may continue. And the second one has to do with the relaxing of the Brown Act. Say, for example, I come in with my laptop, and I'm in the back of the room, and people either email me in or Facebook me with a question. Would I be allowed to come forward to the lectern and ask the question on behalf of the person that may be at home and send it to me?
What we're going to be doing is we're going to be announcing the number here shortly. They can call in directly.
Okay.
As it relates to the Senior Citizens Food Program, I'm not 100% sure in terms of all the intricacies with that, but I do know that the county is working with the rescue mission and working with AAA, and I know that they have something specific. I just haven't seen it yet. So as soon as I get it, I'll make sure to broadcast it out so that way folks are familiar with that.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience? If not, it is now closed to the audience. Council, any further discussion? If not, then I will entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution proclaiming the existence of a local emergency relating to the threat posed by COVID-19 or the coronavirus.
Is that as suggested and amended by the
Suggested
legal?
with the changes. Yep.
With the changes? Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Baptista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Thank you. And at this time, this will conclude the special meeting. Thank you. And now we will move to our regular council meeting. This is regular council meeting of March 17, 2020. Can we please stand up for pledge of allegiance? Mr. Moran, would you lead us in pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, please remain standing for the first responders and the military members. Thank you. Please be seated. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Present.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Present.
Mayor Samara.
Present.
For the record, Councilmember King and Mayor Pro Tem Garcia are non-attendants, but their absence is excused.
Thank you. Change to the agenda. At this time, I'd like to propose changes to the agenda. The awards, presentations, and proclamations 1 through 4, I'd like to postpone that to another date. Public hearings 5 through 8, I'd like to postpone those to another date. Item number 13, 14, 15, and 16, I'd like to postpone to another date. To be continued. Yeah. The awards and, okay, let me just go by item numbers, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. 13, 14, 15, and 16. We will continue those to another date.
And Mayor, we will need to open up the public hearings and officially continue them with a motion. So you would have to
Okay.
open them and continue them as far as the public hearings go.
So we have to open up to the public?
Yes, for the public hearings, especially with the rates. I know we have 218 hearings, and I
Yeah.
think that the idea was to open the hearing and continue the actual hearing to a date certain by motion.
Okay, so then, okay, as that's suggested, then we'll go ahead and, if it's okay with the council, the awards and presentations, we will postpone to another date. Then we'll go on to announcements and reports. I don't see our supervisor here. Staff announcements, reports, Public
Yes.
Works.
Yes, so I'm going to ask each one of our staff to come up, and they're going to talk about their critical infrastructure piece and their protocols. So thank you very much. We'll start with Public Works.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, members of the public. Anthony Chavarria, Public Works. I just want to take this opportunity to provide a brief update to council and to our residents in regards to critical services. In response to the issues that we will be facing as a community from the coronavirus, Public Works has put together a protocol to maintain our critical services. Please note that as a city, we're taking every precaution to keep our employees safe so that we may ensure services are maintained to a certain level to our community. What are critical services? Water treatment, distribution. We need to treat the water, and we need to get that water to your guys' homes. Wastewater treatment and collections. We still need to treat our wastewater and maintain sewer flows. And of course, our fire and police. It's imperative that we maintain our city water treatment and wastewater sites. The city has multiple layers of redundancy to cover operations of both water and the wastewater sites, as all of our operators are dual certified and cross-trained to operate in either or capacity that we may need them to operate in. Both water and wastewater sites are equipped with alarms that will notify operators of any issues that may arise. We do have the capability to operate our well sites from a remote station if such the event were to happen that would make it necessary. Please rest assured that the coronavirus will not stop your drinking water from flowing nor interrupt sewer services. That's the end of my report. Happy to answer any questions from council or the public.
There was a myth going out there that you can catch coronavirus from our water.
That's what the chlorine's in there for.
Thank you.
And then I just want to emphasize the redundancy. So that's one of the things that we have here in the city that we implemented many years ago was dual certification, so that we have different individuals that have dual certifications that can actually respond. So if somebody was to get sick, we have others that we can address. And then, of course, our Public Works Director is also certified in many of the different areas, too.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Council, any questions of Public Works? Public? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and the public here. Vanessa Portillo, I'm the Finance Director here at Livingston. And on our side, we have identified as our critical services to provide is to look into ensuring that utility payments are received for any of the customers or the residents that are trying to make their payments. We have identified that we need to continue to ensure that our critical vendors that provide services to the city are paid, and also to ensure that payroll is one of the functions that our employees are paid, so they can continue to, sustain themselves and continue to have their standard of living and a paycheck. So on those stands, what we are trying to do, or how we're trying to work within our department, is for utility payments for our residents. We are trying to ensure that we move into the online platform. So online website payments are one of the major resources and major ways in which we are asking our citizens to do their
Payment.
bill payments. But at the same time, we're also looking into opening up our phone lines, so that way we can take in phone payments. It's something that we have not done in the past, but we are definitely working towards getting our vendors and ensuring that that's one way that we're going to provide an extra level of service to our customers and our residents. Also, I am working with updating our forms in order to ensure that we can do new service or stop service to our customers, and we can do it through an online platform, that it's something that it can be done either via the phone or via the web page. Email exchange between new customers and or current residents that need to stop, move, need something, they need to put in a work order, and they need something serviced in their water meter or their home.
And just as a point of clarification, when she mentioned stop service, that's for somebody that's asking for service to be
Yes.
stopped, not that we're going to stop them because of non-payment, okay?
Thank you. Then our next point is to, we had talked about it, putting a moratorium on shut-offs for this time being. So meaning what our city manager just mentioned, our customers won't be turned off for non-payment at this moment. Vendor payments, we feel that in the finance department, we are a liaison between all of the different departments in the city to ensure that, our public works department may need essential
Chemicals,
chemicals
equipment.
for the equipment for the water and the treatment. So we want to make sure that they do have that, that those vendors get paid, so they can continue to provide goods and services for us. Like I said, payroll, we are also working into doing an electronic exchange and having most of our employees on direct deposit, so that way they are ensured that their payroll is in the bank without having to do any exchanges. And that also, in the event that we have to minimize the contact with city employees and city staff, we can also work into a remote work from home platform. so.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, so we're trying to get all of our employees to get direct deposit, which benefits them in many aspects. One, they don't necessarily have to pick up a check. Two, have to go to the bank to deposit the check and minimize the exposures, okay? And you always will have one or two employees that don't want direct deposit. So for those, we're on a case-by-case basis, you know, we'll mail them the check. We'll figure out ways to massage this so that they're happy and we minimize exposure on our end.
And sorry, but last but not least, we're also working into ensuring that we are capturing all the costs associated with this emergency, so that way, if any funding from state or the federal level opens up, we're able to submit it for reimbursement, and we are able to recoup our costs.
Okay, one thing, are folks able to call in for their e-check? If they don't have a debit card or credit card, they can do an e-check, right?
Yes.
They can? And for either way, is there a convenience fee?
No convenience fees.
We don't charge a convenience fee.
Thank you. I know that, but I just want to make sure, okay, so, all right.
Yeah, and they can also drop off checks in the drop box, you know, or mail them. We'll be handling those with gloves and all that, taking the proper precautions. We're just not, at this time, gonna take cash. And we really would like folks to use these different platforms. That's the best way. But again, we're gonna work with folks. Thank you.
Council, any questions? Public? Thank you.
Good evening, council, mayor, and members of the public. I'm Chris Soria, captain with the Livingston Police Department. And first and
And
foremost,
now interim chief.
interim chief, yes. And first and foremost, I want to let everybody know, because I know one of the biggest things is public safety. My commitment to it, that's my number one priority, and that's what it's going to be. There isn't going to be any major changes when it comes to law enforcement. You're going to still see us out there. We're going to be out there. We're going to be responding to calls. And when I say things like no major changes, and the changes that I'm talking about are be very little. And the things that basically what we're doing is we're doing what CDC, Department of Health Services are basically giving us direction to. You may see officers and they're not trying to be rude. They may not shake hands when they're out there on calls. They may keep their distance from you, but this in no way is any trying to be disrespectful for whatsoever. They're just trying to protect themselves as well as you. So that's our number one priority, and we want to maintain that by not only keeping them from getting sick, because if I get my officer sick, then that's when we can end up in a dilemma, and I don't want to do that. We are providing them with safety gear, which hopefully will come in shortly, so they will have that provided to them. But again, like I said, we are in no way, shape, or form going to change our day-to-day operations in any way. So you will definitely see us out there. As for myself, I'm in daily contact with the Operations Center out at Cal Fire, out at the old Castle Air Force Base, with the county, local law enforcement agencies, with the city manager, and any information that I get regarding the coronavirus, I will pass that on to the city manager, who will in turn place it on the website. And then it is also, if you haven't looked at our Facebook, there's a lot of information on there as well. But most of that information is being sent back to the health department, the county health department. And I would suggest that each and every one of you, if you haven't already, sign up, because you will get daily briefs on what's going on in the county. So you're not in any way, shape, or form misinformed.
So let me do a quick interjection. What Chris is mentioning, interim chief Chris is mentioning, is that there is a link that you can go to on the website that will basically register you for constant contact, okay? And you can access that by going to our city website. It's on the right-hand corner on the top. You hit that, you can register, and you get constant contact. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood what that meant. Go ahead.
Our department will still be open on a daily basis. So the only thing that we have stopped at this point in time, because I felt the need for it, because again, I do not want to in any way, shape, or form compromise any of the employees, because that in turn will do the rest of the employees within the organization. So the only thing that we did stop was live scans at this point in time. But other than that, everything else will be going status quo as with everyday operations. One thing that I did want to mention is that if you get anyone, and anytime you get a situation like this, there's always somebody that's want to capitalize on it, and usually some type of criminal organization. And we have gotten information that basically there were people going door to door here in Livingston wanting to basically test people. That isn't going to happen, at least not at this point. And most of the time, not most of the time, all of the time, the meetings that I'm at, if that's going to happen, if it gets to that point, I'll know about it and you'll know about it as well. If anybody does come to your door asking you to do that, call us immediately so we can go out there and pass this on to also to the other citizens that you know, because there shouldn't be anyone going door to door making those statements to people.
If you can do me a favor and so we can educate the public a little bit about what is our emergency operations plan, how we conduct our operation plan and the different levels.
Oh, there's actually 3 levels within the IAP, the incident action plan, which is level 1, 2, and 3. We're at level 2 right now, what basically is a step up, obviously, from 1. That is, in essence, we don't fully man our operations center, but it is there. It is kind of like in the background, and in essence, so we will get information from anyone who calls in regarding anything. But anything that comes in, that information is quickly given over to the EOC out at Castle, or the old Castle, which is in turn given to the health department. Again, this is the virus that everyone's talking about is out of my area of expertise. So I don't, and my officers as well, do not give any advice or give any information on that, because number one, I don't want them given the wrong information. Each one of our officers has information that we have given them from the county that they can hand out to citizens while they're actually out on patrol. But right now, again, like I said, we're at a level 2 on the emergency action, or the operation incident action plan. And if it goes up, I will definitely pass that on to the citizens. And it's not nothing that's going to be kept secret. We're going to be definitely very transparent with everything we do. I will always put Sergeant Fong, who actually, if any of you actually go on Facebook, we have been putting quite a bit of information on there. If any one of you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I will take anyone's call, and any information that I can pass on to you, I will. Any questions that I can answer, I will. If I can't find it out, or if I don't know it, I will find it out for you. But other than that, I did have one other thing. You already mentioned the town hall meeting.
You can go ahead and repeat it again.
Oh, no, I really stress that if you really want to know what's going on, is to tomorrow between 7 and 8 p.m. Listen to the town hall meeting, which is actually going to be on Facebook. If any of you have Facebook, go to facebook.com, Merced County. And the public access channels, which are Channel 96 and Comcast, and Channel 99 and AT&T. I don't think we have that here, correct? Yeah.
No.
So you'll be able to view it and actually ask questions on Facebook. So I would suggest, if you really want to know what's going on, ask the professionals. You can ask me questions. I'm probably, if I don't know it because I've been told, I'm going to go find it out, because again, when it comes to this isn't my expertise, and I'm not gonna wing it, because I want to give you the correct information. Other than that, anybody have any questions?
No. Council, any questions? No? Thank you, Captain.
No.
Anybody else? Mr. Sanchez? City Clerk? Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. So again, as it relates to all the other functions in the city, like the building department, the planning department, engineering department, we're going to post a phone number outside to make sure that folks will be able to contact us. And then, again, a lot of the conversations and work is going to be behind the scenes, not necessarily interacting with the public, but directly, that's face-to-face, I mean. We're going to look at making sure that we can, as much as we can, continue to move projects and investments and everything forward. So stay tuned for, for more direction in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, Councilwoman Baptista? Any comments? No? Mr. Aguilar?
None, just, make sure everybody, like we mentioned earlier, follow the CDC recommendations, public health recommendations, practice good social distancing, and, wash your hands. I know with the kids being out of school, that might pose a challenge to some parents. Make sure you stay informed and look at all the different platforms out there with the information. But we're here to serve you, like we mentioned earlier. We're here for you, and hopefully everybody, stays positive and gathers together, and we could prevail out of this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar. And for me, I've already said a lot about just use caution, standard health procedures, and at our next meeting, as you know, most of our agenda, I'm proposing that we postpone to another date. At our next meeting, we will allow people to call in, and the phone number, and we will have it on our website, and we will publish it everywhere, is area code 605-468-8002. Access code is going to be 156811 #. Once again, 605-468-8002. Access code 156811 #. And on our website, we will have a link they can go to as well. So that'll start with our next meeting. And other than that, I don't have anything else at this time. So we'll move on to public hearing. As I know, because it is a public hearing, we'll be opening it for comments, but we're not going to be taking any action at this time.
So,
Just a quick question regarding the first public hearing. I know, I think the business owners are here today.
We're going to let them comment.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, we're going to let them comment. We're just not going to take action because staff is gone and, okay?
Entonces les voy a hablar en español y luego lo digo en inglés y ahí no la llevamos. Entonces el concilio el día de hoy, por varias razones, van a continuar varios puntos de la agenda en cuestión de las audiencias públicas, incluyendo el de ustedes. Ustedes van a poder hacer comentarios, decir lo que ustedes gusten. Lo más seguro es que esto lo van a posponer para la primera reunión, que creo que es el día 7 de abril, cuando van a tomar acción. Hubo comunicado del gobernador que personas de 65 años que posiblemente tengan algunos problemas de salud, que era mejor que no participaran. Y en este caso, el planificador, el que iba a presentar la información, pues le teníamos que comunicar que se tenía que ir a casa. Entonces, la plataforma está abierta para que cualquier comentario que quieran decir ustedes sobre el proyecto, pero la acción van a tomar decisión para el día 7 de abril y querían disculparse de la situación. Ahora lo voy a comunicar en inglés. And so I just wanted, what I shared with the business owner is that given the directive by the governor about, people that might have some underlying issues, health issues, and age, well, our planner fits in that category. So he went home, and we're going to allow the property owner and the project owner to share any information that he has, and we're going to carry or continue this item for the April 7th council meeting that's coming up, and we apologize for the inconvenience.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez, item number 5, can you introduce so we can at least get the comment?
Yes, so item number 5. So item number 5 is this particular background, a little bit of background on this particular project. This property is part of an area that has recently had its general plan designation amended to the downtown commercial to limited industrial and rezoned. And this particular, what they're trying to do is they're trying to have a, let me see here. Yeah, it's a body repair shop. And what? And a paint shop. And so it's right off of Campbell, right there off of Main Street.
Front Street. We're back here.
Yeah, 1621 Front Street. Thank you for the, okay. So if you want to come up and say a few words.
Yes, would you like to come and you can, we can translate for you?
Lo
or
puede
you can
decir en
translate,
español.
so
Lo puedo decir en español.
whatever's easy.
Puede decirlo en español, está bien.
Sí. Pero ¿qué es lo que voy a decirles empezando?
Si quiere decir algo sobre la propuesta de que van a hacer su negocio allí y todo eso, cualquier cosa que usted quiera decir.
Okay, lo que tenemos que decir es que cuando vinimos la primera vez aquí, enseñamos el mapa de cómo iba a ser el taller. El taller es como quien decir aquí donde estamos nosotros. Aquí va a ser como pasar el bodyboard, de aquí a la esquina va a estar la oficina y el baño, que está en una distancia larga de aquí a allá. Entonces, como él no sabía que la vez que vino, le dijeron que tenía que tener como una barda a la mitad para dividir donde la gente va a llegar a sentarse. Había como una muestra de sillas afuera, pero no. Tenemos oficina, que se va a hacer la oficina, se va a hacer el baño. Cuando la gente va a venir a hacer su estimación de carro, llega por aquel lado, se mete a la oficina, le hacen su estimado, sale para afuera y se va, porque ahí no se va a caer él sentado para que le pinten el carro, automáticamente no va a hacer una estimación. Entonces a mí se me hace difícil poner una barda en esa distancia porque me va a comer mucha tierra del edificio, o sea, como que se va a reducir el edificio. Mi opinión era, no sé por qué la señora que me hizo los planos hizo como unas waiting chairs afuera, eso no lo necesitan, porque la gente va a llegar a esa mitad de la oficina. Según aquí alguien comentó que porque el polvo, que porque un fierro les puede pegar. El edificio va a estar mucho acá a un lado trabajando la gente y allá va a estar la oficina para aquel lado. Para mí no hay ningún problema para que la gente entre y a la oficina se siente, haga su estimado y se vaya. Yo lo que quiero es evitar esa barda, no por lo que cueste, porque me va a robar mucha tierra esa barda. Es la pregunta.
Yeah. Did you want to communicate it, or do you want me to just translate? Okay. So what Mr. Padilla is saying is that one of the conditions is that was imposed on him is that he is not in favor of actually putting some type of fence or CMU wall that's going to divide the two uses on this property, and he feels that it's going to take quite a bit of property away from usefulness, and so he would like us to reconsider that.
Okay.
Y si no hay otro plan, pues el único plan que podía hacer yo era cambiar las oficinas para enfrente, para la calle, o sea que la gente llegue por enfrente y se meta directamente a la oficina, que no tenga que entrar para atrás.
So right now, he's actually thinking if that's going to be imposed, or if he has to do that, then he's going to look at actually redesigning the building layout to better accommodate what he has in mind.
Tal vez sea buena idea que, porque antes de que nosotros aprobemos ese proyecto, sea buena idea que se siente otra vez con Randy para que mire exactamente el plan y exactamente cómo lo va a hacer. A lo mejor es buena idea que antes de que, porque ya que pasemos este plan, es como aprobando este plan y que a lo mejor tiene ese límite lo que usted está diciendo que tal vez no va a funcionar para usted. So, a lo mejor es buena idea de mirar los planes antes de que nosotros lo miremos y todo eso. Pero
Los planes ya los enviaron ustedes, ya los tienen aquí. Yo que traigo
no, sí,
pequeño.
pero es como cosa que el planner, how do you say en español, el señor que hace los planes o que revisa los planes, es algo que él tiene que revisar porque hay ciertas cualificaciones, ciertos requisitos que tiene que tener el edificio y tal vez sean uno de esos requisitos que él está pidiendo. Y luego nosotros nos bajamos a esa recomendación, ¿verdad? Pero es mejor que usted tal vez revise esos planes con él, con el señor Randy, para que le diga lo que usted piensa y cómo lo quiere hacer.
Pero con ustedes no hay ningún inconveniente con ustedes que digan, no, nosotros no estamos de acuerdo en eso, porque yo puedo hablar con él y ya lo que él me diga, se va a continuar a hacer lo que él me diga ya él.
Pues no necesariamente, depende cómo sea la recomendación, ya que usted le diga cómo lo quiere, si él no tiene, si no hay ningún problema con requisitos como con la ley o códigos del Departamento de Bomberos y todo eso, entonces tal vez no sea problema, pero primero tiene que comunicarse con él y decirle cómo lo quiere hacer.
Está bien, porque
Okay.
yo lo que quiero hacer es, o sea, que si no creo que le envía si la gente entra directamente a la oficina sin la barra, pero si ya no pueden hacer más, pues lo movemos todo para enfrente y hacemos enfrente.
Sí, le entiendo lo que quiere hacer más o menos, nomás que como él es el experto en planes y los diferentes códigos, los requisitos que tienen que tener un edificio o negocio de ese tipo, se tienen que sentar con él, porque tal vez como va a ser paint shop o algo así, a lo mejor hay un requisito que tienen que tener como algo ahí, ¿verdad? O no sé exactamente, pero explíquele con lo que quiere hacer y todo eso y para que haga esos cambios y si no hay problema, pues nosotros no tenemos problema con eso tampoco.
O sea, porque ya sabes que mi chaval aquí a la junta, como él no sabía de los planos, automáticamente alguien que estaba aquí opinó, yo trabajaba en Merced en un body shop anteriormente y eso es peligroso, que el polvo o que un fierro te puede golpear. Pero en ese caso no estaba, esa persona que opinó eso era de aquí de la misma ciudad. O sea que no estaba viendo cómo estaban los planos, dónde estaba la oficina, dónde estaba la puerta para entrar al taller acá. Y ya fue cuando todos empezaron a decir, si la gente está sentada afuera, pero nunca dijeron que la oficina estaba para que se metiera la gente. Yo pensaba que la gente iba a llegar y se iba a sentar afuera nomás ahí.
Pues a lo mejor fue algo que no miraron los planes bien o no se comunicaron bien, no miraron. ¿Fue alguien del público que opinó eso o alguien de aquí?
Estaban sentados ahí. Entonces,
porque después de que el hombre de los planes que revisa los planes vienen y con el Planning Commission y ellos ponen ciertas reglas, pero si no están de acuerdo usted en eso y ya habla otra vez con el señor de los planes, a lo mejor vienen a un acuerdo y luego ya podemos decidir eso. Ya.
Está bien.
Pero mi recomendación es primero que hable con Randy, que tenga una junta con Randy o algo así, para que le diga esos
So in summary, in terms of what Councilmember and the applicant has been talking about, is that one, of course, this came before the Planning Commission. There was some communication that was given by the Planning Commission, and so there's where that separation came into play. And so Councilmember Aguilar is suggesting that they meet with the Building and Planning Department again and try to figure this thing out prior to the April 7th meeting to see if that can be arranged, if something can be compromised and so forth. Okay. So entonces nos podemos reunir en cuanto se pueda para mirar todo esto de nuevo antes del día 7 de abril. Ya llegando aquí, pues ellos hacen la decisión.
Ok, ¿ustedes van a estar dos presentes o ustedes van a reunirse ustedes mismos?
No, ustedes, bueno, claro, dado la situación en la que estamos ahorita, vamos a hacer nosotros excepciones, tú sabes, y mantener distancia y todo eso, y también van a poder mirar, todas las reuniones se pueden ver a través del internet y vamos a tener nosotros un número donde pueden llamar y pueden estar hablando y nosotros comunicándonos contigo. Claro, de aquí entonces muchas cosas pueden cambiar, pero ese es el plan ahorita.
Claro.
¿Ok? And what I communicated out was that, you know, we're going to meet, we're going to look at figuring out a way to meet with them, figure all these things out prior to this April 7th meeting. And then he asked about the council meeting and would they come here, be in person? And what I told him that a lot of things can change between now and then, but the goal is to be able to communicate through conference call. They'll be able to view everything online. We'll make arrangements. So that's where we're at. Gracias.
I think he was also asking about when would he meet with like the planning department.
Ya, en cuestión de cuándo nos juntamos, yo le llamo mañana y nos ponemos de acuerdo a ver para darle seguimiento a esto. And I told him I'll meet with him, I'll call him tomorrow and we'll figure out how to
Yeah.
make this go forward.
Okay.
Gracias.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, if not, council, any discussion? I'd like to make the motion to continue this item to the April 7th meeting.
I second it.
I have a motion by the mayor and second by Councilman Aguilar. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Number 6 is the ordinance of the City Council, City of Livingston, adopting the new rate schedule for water services. Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Council, Mr. Mayor and Council and public. As you know, we've been working extensively over the last year on having a rate study. This one, there's actually 3 we're going to talk about tonight, but this one in particular has to do with the water. And so we worked with a consultant. We've actually have already proposed some rates. We've sent that out to the public. We've had numerous workshops, English, Spanish, and Punjabi. We've actually had 2 sets of each over the last few months. And so at this point, our council does not want to, would like to continue this item, and so we're proposing to continue this item to the April 7th meeting as well.
So at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing and postpone to April 7th. So we will take public comment.
Catherine Shell, P.O. Box 163, Livingston. Since this was the date that was announced in the mailers, are you supposed to count the ballots at this meeting tonight?
We'll continue to take on, so we're basically extending the period of people to be able to submit ballots. I don't know if legal.
Yeah, so the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to propose that we continue the meeting to April 7th and continue to receive the ballots until the April 7th meeting.
Okay.
And we'll put a notice in the paper and proper notices will go out. So any other comments? If not, I'd like to make the motion to continue this meeting to April 7th and continue to receive ballots. I have a motion by the mayor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Batista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Number 7, this is a resolution ordinance of City Council, City of Livingston, adopting the new rate schedule for domestic wastewater services, sewer service, Prop 218, public hearing. And as stated before, we will open this to the public here momentarily, and we will continue the meeting to April 7th and allow for a ballot to come in until the April 7th meeting. Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, again, this is one of 3 parts that we're dealing with. We've had the same workshops, presented different information at those workshops. We sent notices, we showed combined rates, and again, we're asking council to consider continuing this item to the April 7th meeting. And we will be noticing in one notice that folks can continue to protest the ballot for the April 7th when we plan on counting the ballots.
Thank you. This item, did I open it already? This item is open. Does anybody wish to make a comment? If not, our public portion is now closed. Council, any discussion? I'd like to make the motion that we continue this item to April 7th meeting and continue to receive protest ballots. A motion by the mayor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And we'll continue the public hearing to April 7th.
Yes, I'll second.
I have a motion by mayor and a second by Councilmember Batista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
This is item number 8. This is a resolution of the ordinance of the City Council of the City of Livingston adopting a new rate schedule for solid waste services. Prop 218 hearing. Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and council and public, this one has to do with solid waste. For solid waste, we did not have any rate increase starting in May. It was going to be until January 1st of 2021. So there's no impact per se right now. However, we would like to continue this item for the April 7th meeting as well, where we would like to, again, accept protest ballots from the public and continue the public hearing for that date.
Public, any comments? If not, it is closed to the public. Council, any suggestion, any comments? Any motions? Huh? Okay, I didn't want to hog up the meeting, so I was trying to be, okay, I'll make the motion that we continue this item to the April 7th meeting, continue to receive ballots, and reopen the public meeting April 7th. I have a motion by the mayor. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Councilman Aguilar. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Thank you. Citizens' comment. This section of the agenda allows the members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public who recognize the mayor should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with the state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up. Citizens' comment? Seeing nobody coming forward, citizens' comment is now closed. Consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine, non-controversial, will be enacted by one vote unless separate action requested by the city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council or city manager requests that a specific item be removed. Item number 9, this is the approval of the warrant register dated February 28, 2020, or approval of the warrant dated register dated March 12, 2020, approval of the minutes of the meeting held on February 4, 2020, approval of the minutes of the meeting held on February 8th. Does anybody wish to have a discussion on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Make motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Councilman Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Batista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Okay, this is item number 13. This is the resolution of the City Council of the City of Livingston approving the sale of property near the intersection of West Hammett Avenue and north of F Street and ratifying the compliance with Surplus Land Act. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. My apologies. I only read the first 4. So these items are, so what I'll do is I'll reopen the consent calendar 13 and 14. My apologies, okay? Continuing with the consent agenda, number 13, this is the resolution of City of Livingston, City Council, City of Livingston approving the sale of property near the intersection of West Hammett Avenue and north of F Street and ratifying the compliance with Surplus Land Act. And number 14, approve the interlocal contract for cooperative purchasing with Omnia, I'm going to try, partners for the purchase of goods and services in accordance with the applicable federal and state and local regulations and ordinance. This is a consent. Does anybody wish to make a motion? Yeah.
Make motion to approve those
I have a motion by
additional.
Councilman Aguilar. Do I have a second? I will second that motion. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
I messed up. This is continue with the consent. Yeah, this is to approve the consent. Yeah, I didn't read those into the original consent, so I had to redo the consent. Oh, go ahead, please.
Under number 13, it did say under the, I had read it was proposed fire department. What was the talk about those funds there? I need to go back and find it.
So, so a little bit of background information on that. That is a .034 acre site. That's currently well number 7. It's right there off of F and Hammett. It's an abandoned well, and we have an adjacent property owner who's interested in purchasing that and being able to use that space as part of the overall development. We bid that, we basically took the highest offer for that. We came into agreement. The person wants to move forward with the purchase of that and take on the responsibilities of demoing and addressing the well. And so the funds, any money that's generated from that particular sale, council had talked about using that for any future fire funds.
He's acquiring the land as part of a bigger project he is working on. Yeah.
And just for the record, there's no project currently being worked on right now. It's just more in the future. The council's just making a decision to hopefully set aside for a project later in the future whenever that's developed.
That is correct.
Also, it says in the previous resolution on the 18th, it was for the Public Works Water Fund, or Street Fund. They're going both towards the street and water funds.
Well, that's really up to the council at this particular moment in time. That was what was communicated when the item was presented before, but it's up to you, up to council.
Okay, because we have questions on this, we'll act on this separately, and let's,
You could have the questions answered.
Yeah.
And maybe open it to the public, and then
Yeah.
potentially you could take your motion again.
yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this up to the public. Does anybody wish to comment at this time? If not, I'll bring it back.
So you guys want to have a discussion?
To me, I would, Ms. Baptiste, do you have any objections to funds in any particular?
No, I just wanted to clarify, because I had read previously some different wording. So I just want to make clarification now before.
So we're
So-
making, so the
so-
amount, so everybody knows the amount is $10,200.
Yeah, so, Mr. Aguilar, are you interested in having this fund go
Yeah.
to the? So let's go ahead and.
That's what I was gonna say,
I'm gonna
like-
go ahead and pull this separate, a motion, so you can amend the motion for the funds to be, so. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this 13 by itself, and then, and if you. No, what would, if you, because if he's gonna amend his motion for the funds to be transferred, then we need to do this separately, right?
Yeah, you could do it, the easiest thing for the record is just if you could take your motion back, second, take it back, and then start all over.
And
just the motion
then
back.
indicate that you want this to be, okay? Just so we're clear on
Okay,
this.
I'm taking my motion back.
Yeah, so now go ahead and remake the motion.
Okay. I'm making, okay.
And I will take back the second.
Okay, thank you.
So
All
go
right,
ahead.
so we're making a motion approving the sale property near intersection of West Hammett and North F Street and ratifying compliance with Surplus Lands Act and the funding from that property sale to be assigned to the future fire fund.
I have a motion by Councilman Aguilar. Do anybody wish to make a second? I will second that. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Yes.
Coun-
Sorry.
Councilmember
okay.
Aguilar,
It's okay.
Yes.
Mayor Samra.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Okay, item number 14, this is a consent. Does anybody wish to make a motion?
Make motion to approve it as a part of a consent
I
agenda.
have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I just, when you did that, I thought you were moving it for further discussion, so I did have a few questions that I had. I didn't realize it was on a consent agenda and we approved the whole
It's okay.
thing.
I will take the responsibility and apologize. I did err on this one. I apologize. So I have a motion by Councilmember. Do I have a second?
I still wanted to discuss something.
We'll go on item number 14? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. I thought you were still referring to the other one.
Second, Mayor, so we could open discussion.
Huh?
If you do a second, then we can motion, so we can move on to discussion.
Yeah, I will second that motion, and now we'll open up for discussion.
You just want to present the item and see if her questions are answered, and then she can certainly ask specific questions.
Yeah, Council, what you have before you is the staff report asking to approve a contract for a cooperative purchasing agreement with Omnia Partners. And cooperative purchasing agreement is encouraged in our municipal code. And what this does is allow us to solicit contracts without having to advertise and pay costly fees. So that's what we're presenting and asking for authorization for from council. And this is services for roof repair that we're looking into right now, but they do offer an extended variety of goods that we could utilize to that company.
Okay, this discussion, council?
One of the questions I had, it says it's an interlocal contract. I mean, what other public entities are we looking at? Is it just departments in the city? Are we doing school districts? Who are we?
It's just departments within the, for the city, but school districts could participate if they adopt it with their school board as well. But it's one of the largest ones here in California that we can participate in.
Yeah, so let me give some examples, and actually we'll, in the very near future, we'll have another item very similar to this come before you. So in the past, we actually piggybacked off of, you might remember when we did our compensation and salary schedule, we piggybacked on another entities, okay? So if they went through the process, and so in this particular case, they've gone through the public bidding process and so forth, and so this falls under that, so we can actually, if we adopt this, we can actually use that procurement process. In the very near future, you're gonna have one very similar, which is called the Cal card. So this is part of the state, and it's basically a credit card, and so that way, we can actually take advantage of that competitiveness and processes they have in place. So it's something very, very normal, and so it saves us time and it saves us money, and
Streamlines the process.
Yeah, and streamlines the process.
And I was just wanting to, it looked confusing when I looked it up. Again, I was just wanting to know, if you do this contract with this company, does council still approve whatever suppliers that you guys want to get into agreement or
Yes,
partnerships with?
the staff report will still be brought before council for approval on any projects that we want to go through Omnia with.
So the same process, we'll look at all the bids and see.
Yes, we'll go through the bidding process, but through Omnia, through that procurement process. But the staff report will still be brought before council for approval.
No. Councilwoman, never apologize for asking questions. In fact, you should ask all the questions, okay? Okay, so, any other questions?
No, I was just wondering, like, who are we partnering with, if it was, because it was
It's a good
local, so I didn't know if we were
Yeah, no,
working with
so
other
it's
a good question.
jurisdictions
No,
or
those are very good
other
questions.
districts.
Yeah,
And who would control that? I mean, when you get into a contract, are you guys going to be, is it a joint agreement?
Well,
or
there's
sole-
many entities that participate in the cooperative purchasing contract, so they're all fighting for our business. So it's very competitive, and it's very advantageous for the city to participate in.
Anything else, Mr. Aguilar? Because we discussed, this item is now open to the public. Does anybody have any questions? If not, this item is now closed to the public. Council, anybody wants to make a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, there is, so, any, jeez. Okay, may I have roll call, please?
Thank you, Anthony.
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Mayor Salmon.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Okay, thank you. Item number 15, this is a resolution accepting the proposal submitted by Adam Ashby Group to provide grant services related to the housing component to the Housing Home Investment Partnership Program, HOME, the State Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, and Cal Home Housing Rehab Program, awarding a professional service contract to Adam Ashby Group and authorizing city manager to execute agreement for professional services in a form approved by the city attorney. Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council and the public, we've been working with Adams Ashby Group. We've gone through competitive bid process with them in the past. We feel that having continuity with Mr. Ashby and continuing to go after the different grants that we have out there as it relates to Cal Home and first-time housing program, that it's essential that we continue to move forward with this professional services contract.
Council, any discussion? We can take action if you want. I mean, it's up to us. I mean, what I suggested was just a suggestion, not necessarily, so go ahead. I mean, it's for discussion right now. I still got to open it up. It's okay.
I just want to ask, how long are we in I think I had read it's 5 years that you're going to enter into this contract?
Yes.
Okay, and what is the pay if you want to?
So the way this works is Mr. Ashby actually gets paid as part of the administrative fees portion of the grant, okay? And so the first go-around, when Mr. Ashby was not actually doing any services for the city, prior to that is actually self-help housing, and we put out a bid, and he was awarded. And so we've been working with Mr. Ashby since. And if there's any specific grants that do not fall under this, we pay him separately. But in reality, all of the grants under the HCD side of things have an administrative fee section, and from there, we pay him, and then we actually charge on the grant for our staff time as well. No real fiscal impact.
And I think this is just part of this prior discussions about, being proactive with grant writing and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
So just as you know, just recently, we were awarded for first-time homebuyer program, so we'll be able to extend that services to the people. And we also have program income, and we also have the housing rehab. So we're just trying to continue those programs so that we can help residents here.
I'm sorry?
And if we were able to see the self-help enterprises, their response when they're for the bid?
So let me clarify again. Okay, so back in 2014, we had we actually bid it out, and we had self-help housing, and we had Adams and Ashby Group. Adams and Ashby Group was actually awarded the contract. And so, fast forwarding to now, we would like to continue, for continuity purposes and for efficiency purposes, we would like to extend the professional services contract to Adams and Ashby Group rather than putting it out to bid again for professional services, so that we can continue to work, because the housing rehab program and the first-time homebuyer program, he helped us apply for that. And so it would create some little challenges, and so this would be best for our community. So that's why we're recommending.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that there wasn't a bidding process. It was just, yeah, it was, this is just a continuation to continue services with this specific group.
Any further questions? Mr. Aguilar? This item is open to the public. Does anybody wish to come forward? If not, this item is now closed to the public. Council, further discussion? Does anybody wish to make a motion at this time?
Make a motion accepting the proposal submitted by Adams Ashby Group to provide grant services related to the housing component to the Home Investment Partnership Program, Home, the State Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Program, and Cal Home Housing Rehabilitation Program, awarding the professional service contract to Adams Ashby Group, and authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement for professional services in the form approved by the city attorney.
I have a motion by Councilman Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilwoman Baptista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Item number 16, this is the appointment of 3 Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commissioners and 1 alternate commissioner. Mr. Ramirez?
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is an item that we recommend continuing to the April 7th meeting, giving the council an opportunity to figure out how they would like to address the interviews, given the current emergency state that we're in. And, but it's up to you. What would you like to decide to do?
Okay, council, discussion? Mr. Aguilar?
I would suggest, recommend that we do postpone it to the next council meeting, just considering, I mean, obviously what's going on. and-
Because, yeah, so that way people can, even the commissioners or whatever, if they want to phone in, they can do all that too. So, any further discussion? This item is open to the public. If not, it is now closed to the public. Does anybody wish to make a motion to continue this item to April 7th?
I make motion to continue this item to the next council meeting.
I have a motion by Councilman Aguilar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Baptista. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Mayor Samra?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-0.
Okay, before we, council, any further discussion? Mr. Aguilar?
Just a couple things, real quick, getting some feedback real time. Regarding the resolution we passed, proclaiming the local emergency, is there any way we could translate that into other languages? There was a request from the community.
We can translate those, we will, and
Okay.
we'll post on our city website and hopefully newly created Facebook page.
And then in regards to that, the Facebook page, I think it's, obviously a great idea in regards to, disseminating information to the public. Also like to see just the website being updated. And there's also some concern about people that don't have social media, like older folks in town,
Yeah.
just making sure that we mail that information out.
This, regarding our website, I have brought this up before, but we sorely need to update it. If you Google message from the city manager, it is not our current city manager, so.
That's on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. No, we, of course, we actually are working on that. Staff is working on that. We've looked at some different vendors You know, of course, we're trying to penny pinch here and there, but it is something that's very vital, especially given the state that we're in right now, so we're working towards that. And I do have a suggestion that, for council to consider as it relates to the Facebook page. Rather than having different departments have their own Facebook page, because this is directly related to public safety, wouldn't it would be more prudent if we just focus on the police department's webpage or Facebook page and funnel all the information to them?
To me, I think we still need, and I think everybody that's social media savvy will say, we definitely need a page from the city itself. Yeah, we have recreation that does what it does, but we have the police department does what it does, but there is no presence for everybody else. So I think they can continue to put their information on as they see fit, recreation and public safety, but I think we also need to have a standard place for everybody to go to.
I would agree on that. I think, recreation has its page and police department has their page, and that's good and fine. But I think for some time we have, talked about it here and there that the city should have its own official page, and maybe we could.
I think more people probably visit Facebook on a daily basis from Livingston than they do our website, so it's probably a better place to put the information out, including our agendas down the road. We can also post it there as well, so.
Even to take it even further, I know there's other social media platforms, even Instagram would be, I know it's staffing, it's difficult, but and just to think about in the future, it's really easy to post something on Instagram and transcribe it into Facebook, so it wouldn't be a complete stretch,
Yeah, so I'm sure we have media savvy, social media savvy staff members that can help you with that. So, and I think I can see at least a few of them sitting right there.
I think I see a volunteer. You're raising your hand.
Yeah,
back
I
there?
see a volunteer.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. All right, council, any further discussion? No? Then we are in adjournment. Thank you very much, folks.